Hi, my name's Wendy Groot. I was the CEO with the organisation from 2011 till mid-2016. So to step outside and be able to do some new initiatives like, for example, the Road to Recovery or the Caring Voices project or so any of those other new initiatives, it was important to find funding from other places. So there was a lot of grant writing that was involved so that we could do that. Also with the changing in the way the government operated, the word advocacy was not a word that the government was comfortable with. It much preferred us to use other language about priorities, keeping families at the centre, being able to look at ways that we were actually working with the government in order for the government to be able to achieve what it needed to achieve. So it was very much a partnership that we had with the government to continue with our funding, but it was also a challenging that we were doing with the government in terms of you wanting us to achieve these things, but people living with mental health and their families are telling us that these are their priorities, so can we change? And we were successful in being able to change some of those KPIs to meet what families were telling us was important for them in their role as caring for the person that they were supporting, rather than following the government's lead on what they thought was right. So it was very much a partnership relationship that we developed. We developed some very strong partnerships with the Hobart City Council, particularly around the Road to Recovery. So we developed some very strong relationships with a number of councils around the state in order for them to be able to provide small amounts of money, but enough for us to get some things off the ground. So the Caring Voices project, for example, received some funding. We developed some relationships with our national partners. So we developed relationships with National Mental Illness Fellowship of Australia. We developed a partnership with them and became members with those, as well as with an organisation called SANE, and also the National ARAFMI organisation as well. So, and Works Tasmania, we developed some relationships with them as also. So we developed areas where we could get some pockets of money as small grants so that we could develop projects, which meant that we could achieve some of the vision that we had that was trying to expand the organisation's profile and presence across the state. Creating stability for the organisation and seeing it as being a viable, reputable organisation that the government would go to. Alcohol and Drug Services we now participate in some of their activities. During my time that I was there, we actually presented at one of the National Drug and Education national conferences. And from that, we developed many relationships with local service providers. I think the Road to Recovery walks that were for some time, I think, significantly raised the profile. The most exciting one that we did was the one on a Saturday morning that coincided with Salamanca Market. With the Road to Recovery walks finished on the lawns of Parliament House, and we had hundreds of people came over on that. We had the Army Band playing, and that was a very important opportunity and a great way that we promoted the organisation. The Caring Voices project that we received funding for to do that project and employed a consultant to do that, I think had significant impact and continues to with the organisation.